Australia is a country with only 27 million people, but it was once home to over 400 million rabbits. But people don't just automatically think of Australia when talking about this animal. You'll be surprised to learn that China consumes over 300 million rabbits annually. China's major rabbit farming regions, which include breeding facilities and vegetable fields for rabbits, are concentrated in the provinces of Fujian, Henan, and Sichuan. These are the world's largest rabbit meat producing centres, with an annual output of nearly 457,000 tonnes. However, rabbits are also raised in more rudimentary barns constructed with soil floors and sturdy brick walls to provide shelter from the harsh winds. In well-established farming complexes, rabbits are often housed in cages like this. A typical meat rabbit farm in China usually has at least 100 rabbits because they breed pretty fast. When pregnant, rabbits are housed in isolated enclosures crafted from either bamboo or metal wire mesh. This is for easy monitoring during pregnancy. Otherwise, they would give birth in a burrow like this. Regardless of the type of cage, rabbit farms need to ensure good ventilation, cleanliness, and temperatures that are not too hot for optimal rabbit growth. Popular breeds for meat production in China today are the California White and the New Zealand White. Most rabbits can become pregnant as early as 4 to 5 months of age. Some farms conceive rabbits by artificial methods, while the remaining farms conceive naturally. The gestation period for rabbits is around 30 days. On average, each litter produces 6 to 8 rabbits, and they can give birth to up to 6 litters per year. For the first 30 days, the baby rabbits are fed on their mother's milk. Afterwards, they are separated by sex and placed in individual cages. 70% of the male rabbits are raised for meat, while the females are raised for continued breeding. In the 30 to 90 day age group, farmers start to teach the rabbits to eat vegetables. After 70 days of age, the rabbits are supplemented with foods that are easy to accumulate fat. The fattening phase is from 90 to 120 days of age. To foster robust muscular development, rabbits in this phase are nourished with a diet rich in high-starch components, such as corn and rice, combined with fresh vegetables and pellets. Rabbits grow rapidly and reach ideal slaughter age from 3 to 5 months with a weight of 4.4 to 11 pounds. As a secondary revenue stream, farmers also collect rabbit manure through the rearing process and sell it as an organic fertilizer to nearby vegetable farms. Nutritional analysis indicates that rabbit meat surpasses other livestock and poultry in protein content while having the lowest fat percentage among all meat varieties. Consequently, rabbit meat has witnessed a surge in popularity within the Chinese market, with 62% of the global rabbit meat consumption being China. Have you ever savoured the delicate flavour of rabbit meat? Let's see how whole rabbits are processed into the delectable cuts we enjoy. After arriving at the factory, workers cut their throats and hang them up on a conveyor belt. Subsequently, the rabbits will undergo a swift process of skinning and evisceration. This group of workers can efficiently process 20,000 rabbits in a single day. After that, the rabbit meat is washed, cut into the required sizes, and then finally packaged and transported for consumption. On the streets of China, rabbit meat is processed into countless delicious dishes. You can see how much they favour and become creative with rabbit meat. China produces 460,000 tons of rabbit meat annually, but consumes up to 925,000 tons. A simple calculation shows that China is short of 468,000 tons of meat, equivalent to around 232 million rabbits each year. Many people think that this can be supplemented by increasing production or importing rabbits. It's a fascinating contrast that while rabbits are a delicious and nutritious food in China, they are considered a plague in Australia. Currently, 200 million wild rabbits are devouring pastures and crops, reducing crop yields and competing with native wildlife. This invasive species threatens about 300 species of plants and animals, causing around $200 million in damage to agriculture each year. Despite numerous eradication efforts, the rabbit's rapid reproduction rate and the lack of a strong predator in the population have made them a persistent problem to this day. If it were possible to transport these rabbits from Australia to China, perhaps the Australian government would no longer have to worry. Moreover, the Chinese-Australian community has experienced substantial growth, with the population now comprising 5.5% of the total Australian population, or approximately 1.4 million individuals. Perhaps it's time for the wild rabbit here to encounter their true enemies. But rabbits are not just a delicious food. Rabbit fur, especially from the Angora breed originating from Turkey, is high-quality commodity in France and the United States. China produces 5 to 6 million pounds of Angora wool annually for the commercial market. These adorable rabbits weigh around 4.4 to 7.5 pounds, with long silky fur covering their faces, feet, and even the tops of their ears. When raising this breed, it's necessary to harvest their fur regularly. Experienced breeders monitor signs to harvest the old fur before it sheds. Some Angora breeds shed less. In these cases, the rabbit's fur is carefully clipped. Angora rabbits can yield up to 2.2 pounds of fur each year, with a lifespan of 11 years. After being collected, Angora wool is sorted to remove coarse, poor quality fibres. The wool can also be sorted based on softness. Then the wool is pulled directly from the rabbit's raw fibre, also known as spinning from the cloud. And this is how modern machinery does it. The worker gently wraps the fibre around a knot to form a neat bundle. Additionally, Rex rabbits are widely raised in China for their fur. They can be made into unique wallets, bags, and clothing. China's export volume of Rex rabbit fur reaches around 50 million skins. While rabbit farming has seen significant growth in China, turtle farming has witnessed rapid growth as well, with production increasing by over 20% annually in recent years. Chinese turtle farms primarily breed the soft-shelled turtle. Unlike rabbits, which are primarily raised for their meat, turtles hold value beyond their flesh. Their shells in particular have been prized in traditional Chinese medicine for centuries. Consequently, turtle farming has developed into a complex industry, encompassing both food and pharmaceutical production. Eggs are collected and incubated in sand like this. Once hatched, the young turtles, or hatchlings, are transferred to rearing ponds, where they are fed a rich diet based in protein and consisting of fish, insects, and other specialized turtle feed. Farmers closely monitor the water quality, maintaining a pH level between 6.5 and 8.5. They also monitor the health of the turtles, employing biosecurity measures to prevent disease outbreaks. As the turtles mature, they are moved into larger ponds to accommodate their growth. The entire rearing process can take up to 2 years, depending on the desired size and market demand. Typically, turtles are harvested when they reach a weight of 1.5 to 3 kilograms, or 3.3 to 6.6 pounds. A standard turtle farm can produce up to 10,000 turtles per year, making it a substantial economic contribution to the local community. The soft-shell turtle is the most famous turtle dish in China, particularly popular in the Jiangsu province. They are believed to improve skin and overall well-being. Silkworm Village, Zhejiang Province, China. This tiny village with only 1,000 villagers may look peaceful, but it hides a nightmare for many people around the world. Over 3 million snakes of various species are all living within an area of less than 1 square kilometre. Snakes have been considered medicinal gems for thousands of years in China. China supplies 70% of the world's snake production, and this tiny village has accounted for 30% of that output since the 1980s. But it's not only a place in the country that farms snakes. Guangdong Province in China is the largest snake export centre, and Hebei Province is its main supplier of snakes for domestic meat and medicinal purposes. The reason why Chinese people favour and develop snake farming into a $12 million industry comes from many different factors. Snake farmers in China can bring in a lucrative income of about 400,000 to 500,000 yuan, or 55,000 to 68,000 per year, making it a highly sought-after profession in rural areas. While scientific evidence is lacking, snake meat is valued for its nutritional value. It's low in fat and is rich in protein. It is also believed to help with skin conditions like eczema. In certain countries in Eastern Asia, snake gallbladder and snake wine have been popular remedies to strengthen kidneys and joint health. Thanks to these benefits, China's snake farming industry has become a multi-million-dollar economic powerhouse, generating significant revenue. A bottle of snake wine can be sold for 7,000 to 8,000 yuan, equivalent to around 980 to 1,100 US dollars. The journey of a snake on a snake farm starts with hatching eggs. Female snakes need to be 9 to 10 months old in order to start breeding. Have you ever seen snakes mating? They intertwine like this. Farmers sew snake lips together to stop them from eating their own eggs after laying. About 30 to 35 days after mating, the female lays between 12 and 21 eggs per clutch. The thread will be cut after the eggs are collected, which happens every 2 hours by hand. If farmers leave them in the cage for too long, they will die. Then these eggs are put into a box containing around 5 centimeters of soil and sand with 25 to 30% moisture content. A thin layer of sand is then spread over the eggs. The incubation period lasts around 75 days, during which the eggs must be regularly checked to ensure they are uniformly large, white, and dry. Any damaged eggs should be immediately removed. These large-scale operations regulate humidity and temperature at around 80 degrees Fahrenheit in order to mimic the natural habitat and to boost breeding success. Snakes undergo shedding as part of their growing process. Signs of an impending shed include a loss of appetite, lethargy, and increased aggression. The snake's skin becomes cloudy, and its eyes turn opaque as it seeks a place to shed. Young snakes shed every 28 to 30 days, while older snakes, especially 2 years or more, shed every 35 to 45 days, usually in summer and autumn. During this time, farmers need to clean the barn regularly because snake skin is everywhere. Now we are back with the newly hatched baby snakes. Farmers need to check the incubation box thoroughly to make sure none are left behind. They are then placed in an enclosure. This farm put 80 cobras per cage. Water is provided 7 days after shedding, and they are often fed small animals like frogs and mice. The feeding frequency is every 3 to 5 days. Farmers give 50 baby snakes at 1 month old about 0.5 kilos of froglets a day. Adult snakes are housed in cement enclosures, approximately 1.2 meters high, in order to prevent escapes, with side doors and mesh for ventilation. They are fed live, clean prey such as mice, chicks, and other similar animals, around 2 to 3 times a week. Food is often left in the enclosure for snakes to eat at will. To ensure that they eat, some farmers still hand feed them like this. Snakes can be aggressive to strangers, but they will be familiar with the feeders and handlers over time. Therefore, the workers who feed the snakes tend to be the same that have fed them since birth. However, these skilled workers still have to wear protective gear or use safety tools when feeding them. Plus, they must not get too close to them after wearing perfume or drinking alcohol, because this will change their body's smell and make snakes think that they are strangers. Despite being wild animals with high disease resistance, weekly hygiene is still essential in snake farming. Snakes need clean, cool water for drinking and bathing. The snake is a relatively clean animal to farm because their excrement is dry and not too odorous. Snakes are harvested for meat between 6 months to 1 year old. At this time, if they weigh 1.1 pounds or above, they are considered the top grade. Only male snakes are harvested because females are kept to continue reproducing. 8-month-old snakes weighing over 1.2 kilos are more prolific egg layers. This country harvests and processes around 14 to 18 million pounds of snakes each year, and around 40% of them go to cooking. Snake soup is a traditional and meticulously prepared dish famous in China. It is believed to prevent colds, is rejuvenating, and increases longevity. Snake wine is made from 67% of farm snakes, using both venomous and non-venomous species with high medicinal value. The basic process involves killing and cleaning the snakes, often leaving the gallbladder and other medicinal parts intact. Snakes are then specially placed standing in jars. After that, the winemakers fill it with rice wine or glutinous rice wine with an alcohol content of 40 to 60%. The wine is steeped for a minimum of 6 months, although ideally over 3 years, to fully extract the purported medicinal properties of the snakes and herbs. Consumed in small quantities, typically 30 to 50 milliliters per day, snake wine is believed to alleviate arthritis and enhance vitality. Despite all those good things, snake wine poses significant dangers. Numerous incidents of snake bites occurring when the snakes weren't killed before going into the jar and revived after being dormant for over 3 years have been told. This is because they can stay dormant for a long time in harsh conditions like the cold and dark, when they lack oxygen and food. In 2023, China's most famous snake village sold more than 3 million snakes to pharmaceutical companies that use the reptiles' gallbladders and skin to create nutritional supplements. These products are sought after in Japan, South Korea, America, and Europe. Perhaps the most valuable product derived from snakes is their venom, a complex cocktail of enzymes and toxins referred to as liquid gold in China. Dried snake venom can fetch up to 3,000 to 5,000 yuan per gram, about 450 to 750 US dollars, depending on the species. It's expensive because harvesting venom requires a high level of skill to handle the snake bites effectively and safely. The worker has to wear protective gear and then grab the tail of the snake like this. After that, they can use the stick to secure the reptile's head onto the ground so that they can easily grab its head and milk the venom into a cup. New handlers will often suffer bites several times before mastering the technique.